Hello, welcome to another Atypical Philosopher video with myself, Jonathan M.S. Pierce. I'm going to speak to you today about rabbit hutches and the size of the universe. So, what the devil do rabbit hutches have to do with philosophical arguments against the existence of God and the size of the universe? I hear you ask. Well, let me explain how these little houses built for pet rabbits may shed some unexpected light on whether an all-knowing, all-powerful, or loving God exists. But before we deal with the excitement of rabbit living spaces, let's talk arguments, specifically abductive arguments. And I know I've talked a lot about these in many of my videos. So what are they? Abductive arguments are inferences to the best explanation. They might not prove that, in this case, God does not exist in some deductive manner. So a deductive logical syllogism, I don't know, all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. Okay, if you agree with those premises, it follows indubitably that the conclusion holds. Um, Abductive arguments aren't like those, but they do show that on balance, God is less likely than atheism. And when you build up a cumulative case of a whole range of these arguments, then that can become really convincing. And in fact, that's where I stand. So with that in mind, let's talk about the size of the universe and what we'd expect if God existed or if God didn't exist. So in other words, if we knew nothing else, what would we predict the size of the universe to be given our existence on atheism and on theism? Right? So more precisely, if we were the apex of creation, as is consistently argued by theologians and as seen in biblical texts, then what would we expect of the size of the universe? Let's try it this way. Imagine you visit my house. Welcome in, welcome in. Hey, before I get you a cuppa, do you want to come out the back and see the rabbit hutch I've just built, to house my 3 rabbits? You know how much I love rabbits. I love rabbits so much. My love for them is overflowing. I have superfluous love for rabbits to the point that I've built a rabbit hutch just for them. It's perfect for all their needs. That is a reflection of the love I have for rabbits. So you agree to come and check it out, especially as you've been told how kind and generous a soul I am. Oh, he's super loving, that JP, the nicest, kindest guy we've ever known, say the local neighbours, none of whom can actually put a finger on a kind and nice thing I've actually done. But your interest is piqued. As you follow me outside to my back garden, you think about what I may have built. A small hutch with an appropriate patch of lawn for the rabbits to run around on. Maybe the whole lawn. Oof. Some playthings to keep them interested, perhaps. And a hutch will be suitably sized for the 3 rabbits. That much should be obvious, right? Come, come. Here it is, I exclaim, showing you what I've built. Stretching out in front of you is the biggest single building you have ever seen. It reaches all the way to the moon. To the moon! The building is so vast that you can't even see it all. The point of this is that the building is not at all what you would predict given that I love rabbits and have designed something for my 3 rabbits. It appears I have designed and built a hutch that those rabbits can barely utilize or even enjoy. In fact, 99.99% plus of the hutch is uninhabitable, stretching up into the air and through the atmosphere to the moon. The rabbits would never be able to make use of that area or even experience it. Even the land for the rabbit is so vast that they would never be able to use or even desire to use it. To make matters worse, there are parts of this huge hutch that I've built for them that are insanely dangerous. There's a huge vortex fan at some distance from the corner in which we are standing that will suck the rabbits up to their immediate deaths. Of course, the rabbits will never be able to reach that vortex, but this then leads you to wonder why I designed and created that potential death trap anyway. Some distance away, perhaps a few hundred yards, there's a mound that occasionally pumps out boiling tar, spurting all of a sudden onto the ground around it. As it does this, the ground opens up nearby and mechanically rents in two. Oh, I say, be careful. Don't eat those mushrooms that I planted over there. They're extremely poisonous. Even more so for my poor rabbits. They produce the same symptoms as Ebola, which I've left in an open canister about 400 yards over there. The more you look, the more you think that this hutch is not only unnecessarily large beyond comprehension for these three rabbits, but it's also exceptionally dangerous in parts. And it's not at all what you would have predicted for someone to design, given how much of a fan of rabbits and how supposedly kind and compassionate they are. As you look around this incredibly unnecessary waste of space that acts as an almost certain provision of premature death for the creatures I supposedly love so much that I would go to all this effort for, you look quizzically at me. I'm certainly not the person you thought I was. Why all this and that and those things? I mean, it's way too big for these rabbits. What were you thinking? You ask me. I look back at you and shrug my shoulders. Well, I know really. I think I've got some problems. Maybe some unresolved father issues I need to work through. Hmm. And of course, that is what God has provided for humanity, this universe where it's far easier to die than to live. This universe that's designed, one might say, for death. This universe that has obstacles for us to enjoy our lives all over the shop, physical obstacles, whether it be black holes in the distance that we might never come across, or that could suck up our galaxy, or an earthquake. One in Turkey has just killed 50,000 people. Tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004 killed 240,000 people. Is that what you expect of a perfect designer who loves their creation so much, has an overflowing amount of love that they would want to design and create all of that? The size of the universe, which you'll never be able to remotely access. Does that really look like the work of an all-loving God? And are we the apex of that creation? I think not. And I think this is a really sound abductive argument to say that the size of the universe and the makeup of the universe is better supported by the atheistic naturalism hypothesis as opposed to the omnigod theism hypothesis. And it's better predicted as well. What would you predict of the universe? Just like saying, telling you, asking you, what do you expect the rabbit hutch is going to look like before showing it to you? Not like the rabbit hutch actually looks like. What would you predict an all-loving God to make the universe look like? That was interested in life and love. I don't think you would predict a universe that looks like this. Anyway, rabbit hutches, size of the universe, and the existence or non-existence of God. What do you think? Have a chat down below. It's like setting homework.